While most of us are still locked down in our homes here in the UK, our ski technique editor, Roran Smith, is lucky enough to be out in Verbier. And I'm going to call him now, actually, to ask him a few questions about what we might be able to do if we don't get the chance to go out on the snow this season. And also what we could do to help improve our skiing if we do manage to get out on the snow. You better answer. Come on, Roran. I know you're busy.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Roran. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you doing? Pretty jealous of your background there.
Yeah. We just got back out to the Alps. The glaciers are in amazing condition. You can see here we're in Verbier. We've got the Petit Comban and the Grand Comban in the background. Lovely shot there. And everything's just getting ready for the winter. But everyone at the moment skiing up in Lac de Vaux, which is good. But as I say, this time of year, the glaciers are in pristine condition, so it's looking nice up there.
I mean, no one really knows what this winter is going to bring. It's possible that some people might not be able to make it out onto the snow this year. But if that's the case, what sort of things can we be doing at home to just make sure that we stay on top of our game all the time so that when we do get the chance to go out, and if we do, we're ready for action?
Absolutely, Rob. We've just been doing this actually around the UK. I know you guys were involved with our tour, which was great. When we got to meet, even in smaller numbers, a lot of people who were really interested in doing exercises off of snow. So working on, your ski technique and making sure your biomechanical ranges of movement were good enough and adequate enough to actually match what your ski coach might be giving you when you get out to the Alps. And we got some amazing results. Myself and Rob have been doing that tour for quite a few years now, but we've come to realise that so much of what you can do to better yourself is at the heart of it is at the biomechanics. Obviously for strength and conditioning is just as important, but without those ranges of movement, it doesn't matter how good your ski coach is or how much strength and conditioning you do. If you can't make the right ranges of movement, you can't put it into play. So you kind of can't cheat the biomechanics. And that would be the ideal thing to be working on in these uncertain times. If you've got those extra few weeks to be at home with not too much to do.
That's great. I think Emily's got some questions for you as well, Roran. So I'm just going to help.
Hi. So
How you doing?
I'm good. Don't worry. I know you know that I'm a ski instructor. I'm not trying to steal all of your brain work here. But tell me, what's your most important top tip you could give to a skier?
Yeah, if it's the stuff to work on off of snow, we usually work through the ranges of movement. The classic thing is flex. A lot of people not having enough range in their actual physiology to match what they need to drive through the ski boot. So a lot of people could be working through some calf stretches and some foam rollers and just to get that lower joint active and in a really safe position to, one, take uncertain shots, but also two, sort of up the performance level when you really want to crank force through the boot. Another thing, classic thing, is symmetry, just switching on your lateral control muscles. Your adductors and getting your adductors working with your glutes and your core. There's a lot of exercises there with sliders that you can work on to tune up the symmetry, you could say, and to get that sort of symmetrical shape being supported by the muscles. And probably the most important one at home we found is steering range. A lot of people don't realise it, but they get blocked on their internal steering range. So to put it in layman's terms, if you turn it to the right, you want to know that your left leg, and I'll show you what we do. We do an exercise at home, getting people to hold their hips, stabilise their hips, and just doing a stepping around exercise. And if you can see there, my right leg is getting to about 70 degrees across without the hips moving. Now, what's really interesting on the tests that we do with people, the national average wasn't 70 degrees, it was 43 degrees. And that's with over 5,000 people being tested. The other thing that's really important on this one is that when they go left and right and test themselves, the national average was a 25-degree difference between their left and right leg, and it usually always related to someone's weaker turn. So if you imagine you're being asked to finish off your turn by your ski instructor, and you've only got a 30 or 40 degrees inner steering range, you're never going to be able to get that turn finished off without your hip following you around the turn and dampening off that great edge you should be working on. So that's a really important thing that we found, and that you can make great work with at home. All of that information is obviously on the website, and it's going to be on InTheSnow magazine's web pages as well. So that's somewhere where people can access it and get the at-home exercises.
So I love the way now that we've actually got something we can actually work on our skiing, but in our front room at home. So we're kind of going to be one step ahead when we actually get to the mountains this winter. Fingers crossed. Now, I think you've already told us all of those tips now, because I was going to challenge you. I was going to give you 5 minutes to kind of teach me something new, but I reckon you might have already given me a few.
Oh, absolutely. Well, why don't we nip off to the glacier now and
Yep.
go and get some pointers worked on for something for a beginner, something for an intermediate, and something for an advanced skier. We'll do it in a very quick turnaround. Does that sound good?
Yeah, perfect.
Sounds good, Warren.
Awesome.
Get yourself up there. Get yourself up there and have some fun.
Brilliant. See you guys in a minute.
Cheers.
See ya.
See you.
Made a quick dash for the slopes. I'm up in Verbier. Funny enough, looking at a lot of the classic pointers that you wanted us to give people, some how-tos. We wanted to just make a couple of easy things for you to understand and to maybe give people things to think about and work on at home as well as on the mountain. When we were in Lac de Vaux watching the skiers here in Verbier, we saw a lot of people skiing in the back seat. All right, that's a really classic thing in skiing. A lot of the time it's just gaining muscle memory and getting really comfortable with the ski boots that you're in. Obviously in the UK we've got some of Europe's best boot fitters. It's a great opportunity when things do open up to go and get your boots double checked. The other thing to think about is how you do your boots up. Something really simple on this top clip, making sure around the top of the boot there's not a big gap. You want it to be nice and close. This buckle here is going to retain you and pull you into the back of the boot. It's important that when I stand on the ski I can drive and get a good range of movement in my lower joint. If you can see that, my knee is flexing, my ankle is flexing, and my hips flexing all together. Just think about isolating your ankle and giving it an exercise. We sometimes do an ankle flex exercise. If you haven't had a lot of experience, do this on the flat. If you've had a little bit, go onto a green slope or a blue or even a red if you're a more advanced skier. So that was one point that we wanted to talk to people about to get them comfortable and warmed up for their ski season. The other thing we wanted to talk about is symmetry. You may have heard of the word, the A-frame, being thrown around a lot. That is basically when your knees are either closer together than your feet or your feet are wider than your knees. When we run courses, we often find easily 95% of skiers skiing in an A-frame where their knees are closer together. And a really simple awareness exercise is to get your hands on your knees here and try skiing down, but using the sensitivity of your hands to try and stabilize your knees. Even if you're skiing an A-frame when you're going through your turn, you can make slight adjustments. So it's a great exercise to work on your own, even without a coach or an instructor. So hopefully there's a couple of pointers in that will give you some things to work on. But as we said, on the InTheSnow website, you'll see some of these exercises to work on at home as well. So we can take you through that. Just one other point, real simple. Another area we saw this morning, lots of, were people throwing their arms around, a lot of upper body rotation, a lot of hip rotation going into the turns. Just real simple one. Just try and get your hands on your hips when you ski. Just down here and stop this hip rotation coming round. Hands again, a bit like hands on knees. It's a really good way of getting feedback. You know, if you're just skiing, going through your turns, not having much to sort of quantify or measure, as soon as you use your hands, put them on your hips, you're going to know straight away when they've started to rotate into the turn. Your inward rotation, so if I'm turning and finish my turn off to the right, that's without my hip moving, but I'm getting my ski across the fall line about 70 degrees. You know, there's an exercise you can work on at home to try and test your inner range of steering. What's quite interesting on the tour we did in October around the UK with InTheSnow was when we tested people, we got to a national average of 43 degrees. So a lot of people didn't actually have that range of movement. That's why this lockdown can give you time to work on expanding your biomechanics and your ranges of movement. And when you do get on snow, just go for a simple run at the start of your day. Just think about trying to get your hands on your hips here, standing up on top of your skis, and just give it 5 or 10 minutes. You'll very quickly become aware of what your hips are doing. So guys, that was just a little bit of a taster. We'll give you a bit more of an insight as to what we're doing this winter with InTheSnow. We're going to be giving out a lot of video content for you guys to watch throughout the whole winter season. Things that you can work on at home, but mainly stuff that you're going to be working on the mountain. What I was skiing on today, I was on a Vocal Mantra. It's a carbon version, and it's also got the Kingpin binding, the marker Kingpin. So It's something that I was doing with my touring boots. I had some skins on early today, went skinning, and a lot more people are thinking about that this season as well. So when you're scrolling through the pages of the website and looking at things, you know, look out for kit that could also get you away from the crowds. Something to think about for this season. Thanks for watching, guys, and back over to you in the studio. Hope you enjoyed the tips, and we'll see you again soon.